Hey Scott, how are you doing today?
I am so good, Jessica. How have you been lately? I have not seen you for a while now.
I have been good. I have been going to Grand Canyon University this year and I am taking a fascinating Earth and space science class.
That is so interesting. I have always wanted to learn more about rocks in space. Can you tell me some things you have learned?
Yeah, I would love to. Right now we are learning about the scientific method, deductive versus inductive reasoning, and the differences between hypotheses, theories, and law.
Wow, it sounds like you are really learning a lot in this class.
We are, Scott. For example, all of these things are the basis for how scientists operate within the scientific field. The scientific method has 6 parts to it, and is a means in how to process experimentations.
What are the 6 steps?
First, there is observation through examining an environment, situation, or problem. From the observation comes forming a question, or creating a question that pertains to the observation one made. After you come up with a question, you form a hypothesis. This means that you write a predictive solution to the question that can be tested through an experiment. A hypothesis must have if, then, and but as the general structure. After the hypothesis is formed, an experiment must be done to put the hypothesis to the test. During the experiment, one must make observations of what is, or has, occurred throughout it. From the observations, one analyzes or interprets what occurred within the experiments. Lastly, after the analysis one can form a conclusion. So there you have it. In summary, the scientific method starts with an observation and then consists of questioning, hypothesis, experiment, observation, analysis, and conclusion.
That is incredible. I never knew there was a process within science to help people solve problems. How have you personally used the scientific method you speak of?
Well, the other day I wanted to boil an egg. I made the observation from other cooks I have seen that when boiled correctly an egg will harden. From this I formed the question, how hot and long will it take for an egg to be boiled? So from there I formed a hypothesis, if I boil an egg when the water is boiling for 12 minutes, then the egg will harden, because the heat of the water has cooked the insides. After this I put the hypothesis to a test through an experiment of boiling an egg in boiling water for 12 minutes. After I did this I took the egg out of water and observed that the inside of the egg was now hard. After making this observation I analyzed the evidence that putting an egg in boiling water for 12 minutes created a hard-boiled egg. My final conclusion was that the hypothesis was proven to be true.
You mentioned inductive and deductive reasoning. What is that?
Well, deductive reasoning, also known as deduction, is when true premises develop valid conclusions. Inductive reasoning is when the premises are supported by the conclusion.
Fantastic. Now tell me about the difference between hypothesis, theories, and laws.
Okay, a hypothesis is a statement that can be tested. A theory is a well-thought-out explanation of something that can be repeated in tests through observations and experiments. Lastly, laws are mathematical relationships that are consistently proven to be true.
What are examples of these things?
Well, you see a hypothesis formed from my egg dilemma. If you boil water and out an egg in it for 12 minutes, then it will harden, because the insides are cooked. An example of a theory would be the theory of evolution. This is an idea of how creatures can change over time and develop into new species. This can be seen through Darwin's observations on the Galapagos Islands of the finches. Lastly, a law would be the law of gravity. In essence, what goes up must come down.
Wow! I have learned so much from you. I think I now have a passion for science. Thank you so much for sharing your passion with me. It will forever change my life and the way I think.